Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I like to share any and all things that bring me joy, hence the name Sharelation. Today I decided to do a video about all the Chanel and Hermes bags that I've sold throughout the years. It's in no particular order, but I thought it would be interesting to do some analysis on those items that I've sold in the past and whether I have lost any money or I earned a little bit, because many people think that buying a handbag could be a potential good investment in the sense that this bag will hold its value. So if you buy it for this price, you can likely sell it for way above retail, because on secondhand sites like Fashion File or Rebag or Vestiaire Collective, they are showing as a much higher price than what you've paid for. And therefore it gives you the illusion that, let's say I paid $2,000 for this handbag. Now it's already selling for $3,000 and up for the same bag in used condition on those sites. But it takes work to sell things. It's very time consuming, and it actually is very stressful. So I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the items that I've sold in the past and whether I have lost money or gained. So I hope you find this helpful, and let's get started. First bag on the list is this Chanel hobo style bag. It's in the color burgundy. It's quite large. It has this gunmetal chain and a removable adjustable crossbody strap. So it's actually a very functional bag, but the reason I sold it was I actually found it to be way too heavy and a little bit too large for my needs. And I won't get into the exact price that I bought this for, because prices now are just so different than what it was when I purchased it. And I did buy this secondhand in Japan. When I sold it on eBay, and I lost about $330. So overall, I got 78% of my purchase price back. The next Chanel item I sold is this pink camellia wallet. It's like a bifold wallet. I decided to sell it because it was sort of an impulse purchase. I bought it in Japan, so it was secondhand, and I found that I didn't really use this kind of size wallet anymore, although it was very lovely, had a nice gold interior, and the pink was very cute. I sold this on eBay as well, and I actually got 100% of my money back and earned on top of that like $2. So I just consider it 100% of my money back. And this is after all of the shipping costs and the eBay fees and whatnot. Is what I got back into my pocket was 100% of the price that I purchased it at, plus about $2 more. The next Chanel item I sold is the first new purchase that I bought in store at my local boutique here in New York. It was the lambskin Chanel mini flat bag, and in a beautiful navy blue color and gold hardware. I was so scared to use this bag, and the main reason why I sold it is because I was really scared of the lambskin and getting scratches on it, because I did end up getting a scratch unintentionally, but somehow after buffing it out, it actually came back to normal. And in hindsight, I really wish I kept this bag, because with all the price increases, this bag is so much more expensive than what I paid. That's why I don't really want to get into the price that I paid for an item, but I want to talk about when I sold it. It was before all the crazy price increases. So when I sold it to somebody in person that I met through like a bag chat forum, and I earned 10% on top of what I paid for the bag. Now, right now, if I kept this bag and I sold it, I could have probably doubled my money, because like I said, this was purchased before all the crazy price increases, and so that was my second regret. So this is my top regret of of all my handbag selling days, because it's such a classic item. I love the color. Now I'm not as afraid of lambskin. I should have kept it. And with all the crazy price increases, I really would have earned more if I sold it now. But a lesson learned, and really think through before you sell anything is what I got out of it. So again, I earned 10% on top of what I paid for. This next bag that I sold is like a Chanel bowling style bag. You can see it has a short top handle where you can hold the bag, and there's a longer strap where you can put it on your shoulder. The reason why I sold it was, well, actually, it's really because of the way I was able to wear the bag. I really had to use it just handheld. The long straps weren't long enough to really comfortably wear on my shoulder, because of the shape of the bag. It was like a tube. So if I stuffed it full, or even when I didn't stuff it full, and I put it on my shoulder, it was like my arm was sticking out a lot, and it was like I was hugging a football. It felt weird, and I didn't really gravitate towards using it. So this is another secondhand purchase from Japan, and I also sold this on eBay. So after all the fees and whatnot, I pocketed more than what I paid for, but only by about 5%. So it was a good, like, I didn't lose any money, and I earned a little bit. But again, the hassle of selling is just getting harder and harder, and it's really nerve-wracking, and it's very stressful. So again, another lesson learned, to really think through your purchase before getting something, especially in this price range nowadays. On to my Hermes bags. In this picture, you'll see 4 handbags. Actually, 3 of them have been sold. So the one I'm referring to here is the blue Garden Party bag. This was the larger size. I think it's the Garden Party 30, or is it 36? It's the larger one, and it's in a beautiful kind of like a denim blue. So again, I purchased this from Japan secondhand, and I sold it on eBay. I did lose some money. I lost about 465 US dollars. But in hindsight, I did gain back. I got back 77% of what I paid. And if you're good at math, you could probably figure out how much I actually paid for it. But this was a difficult one to sell, because I guess the Garden Party isn't so popular, and it's a specific color. It isn't in one of those neutral classic colors. The reason why I sold this was because the handle is really more handheld or crook of the arm kind of bag. If you have really skinny arms, or you're just wearing like a thin sweater or like a t-shirt, it can fit on your shoulder fairly comfortably. It's a little bit tight, again, depending how big your arms are. And I really wanted to be able to use this as a true tote bag and sling it over my shoulder. And because of that restriction, it was always very like I had to fiddle with it just to get it to stay on my shoulder. I decided to let this one go, and I got back 77% of what I paid for, which in hindsight isn't too bad. It's sort of like I paid the $465 or so amount to test and use the bag, and just sold it off because it didn't work out for me. This next bag is a Picotin size MM. I sold this on Fashion File. This is one of the first ones I've ever sold on Fashion File, because I found that the stress of selling on eBay was just getting too much. You can deal with scammers, you can deal with lost packages, a whole slew of reasons why it can be stressful. This bag I purchased from Japan as well. It was secondhand. It's in this sort of like burnt orange kind of color. At that time, it wasn't the color I really wanted, but it's one of those things that you saw it and thought, oh, I could use this and I could make good use out of it. The color was okay. I wasn't too bothered by it. But when I went to Hawaii a couple summers ago, I was offered a picotin of the same size in the gold color. So needless to say, I bought that and decided I don't need two of the same sized bags. So I sold it off. So when I sold it to Fashion File, I actually earned about 2% of what I paid for the bag. A little bit more. So it was nice that I didn't lose any money. At this point, I was actually just hoping not to lose any money on any bags, or if I had to lose some, it would be very minimal. So I sold it off to Fashion File and got about 2% earnings on it. The last bag I sold from Hermes is this Evelyn PM in the gold color and silver hardware. Another pre-loved purchase while I was in Japan a couple years ago. And I think it's because of the color, actually, not necessarily because of this particular bag. We know which Hermes bags are more popular and in higher demand. So when I submitted for a quote on Rebag, I got a quote back and I accepted it because I didn't lose any money on it. That was really my main criteria. I was hoping not to lose any, if at all. So I actually ended up gaining 16% back on top of 16% on top of what I paid for originally when I purchased it in Japan. Now, a quick tip for those that are looking to sell anything. You can use any platform, of course, and it comes with its own risks. I opted to start going with houses like Fashion File or Rebag because it reduced a lot of the stress. You also get less money, and I fully acknowledge that. But one good thing that Rebag has, which I've appreciated, is when you sell an item, you're offered several options, a buyout, a trade-in value, and now they have a consignment service. So it's 3 different prices. They only launched the consignment recently, so I opted for the buyout, and the price that I got, once you accept it and you are going to send the bag and they inspect it, they validate it, then you get the bag back. Sorry, not get the bag, you get the payment in your account. And so they put the money in your Rebag wallet, and if you're willing to wait patiently, month by month, you can earn, I think it's 1% or so back. I'll have to put it in the description below. You earned a certain percentage if you wait month by month. So let's say if you sold it October 15th, 2023, when you hit November 1st, you get a little bit extra. When you hit December 1st, you get a little bit extra. Same thing when you hit January, February, March, etc. And you can earn this extra percentage for up to 12 months. So that was exactly what I did. I sold it somewhere around October last year, and I've been waiting and accumulating this extra percentage based on the things that I've sold, because I also sold another bag from Gucci, which I'll talk about in another video. And you accumulate a little more earnings just by waiting patiently month by month and not using that money to buy something else off of Rebag. So that's what I've been doing. I've already accumulated a good 100 or so, maybe $150. I have to check the exact amount. And it's sort of like accumulated earnings. And if you do that and wait for a full year, you get a little bit more on top of what you sold the bag to them for. So it's something to look into and consider when you're comparing different places to sell or different platforms. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment down below. And as always, stay happy and healthy, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.